this is Dave Nassie with NextLevelGuitar.com. And today what we're going to do is we're going to keep it nice and mellow, and we're going to talk about playing in a 2-5-1 progression in the key of C. We're going to focus on the 2 chord. A lot of times when we play in our jazz standards or various progressions, we know there's so many variations to them, but it's really important to treat things from one chord to the next and just isolate one chord that's happening within the change and the possibilities that we can do with it, ways that we can alter it, and positions that we can play over the fretboard. In the case of the 2 chord, we're going to be talking about Dorian, or the tonality of Dorian. Before I forget, you see that link down there in the YouTube text box. Please click on that link that you see right down there if you want a video that is not available on YouTube, as well as an additional free ebook that covers a bunch of different scales and things that you can do over many different changes and all kinds of styles. Click on that YouTube text box right there below. Now, let's think about this really quick. In the key of C, our 2-5-1 progression is very simply this. You have your D minor 7, and I'll just kind of voice everything this way. You have your G dominant 7, and you're going to have your C major 7. So, more importantly, like I said, we're talking about our 2 chord. Minor 7 is a flat 3 and a flat 7 triad. So if we're forming the notes or the arpeggio that consist of that chord, we're going to have our tonic, our root note, a flat 3, as I said, a 5, and a flat 7. The intervals of the Dorian scale are exactly the same. They are a flat 3 and a flat 7 as well. So that's why these 2 tonalities really kind of come together and join to really be rich within this progression. What I most importantly want to do is take, in this particular case, in the key of D, all the ways and positions that we can play this throughout the fretboard, covering arpeggio and covering scale shapes, because it's really important that we combine the 2 of these together. The arpeggios are referred to for your target notes, or the tones within the chord, that when you're playing a run, oftentimes you want to land on. Things to mention within our progression. You want to maybe practice your run and land on the 3rd or the 7th of your chord. All these things that I'm yammering about right now, we're going to talk about and we're going to put into use. So let's just dive right on in. I've got my D minor 7 chord. I've got my D minor 7 arpeggio. All right, let's get started on this. D, F, A, and C. So I have my D. I have my F. A, C, D, F, A, C. Now, I'm in the key of C major. I'm going to play my Dorian mode starting from my note right here on the 5th string, and that gives me this shape. Different than some of the scale shapes that, at least with the lessons that I've done over here at Next Level, these are working more in a cage system, a really nice condensed area within the guitar or region within the guitar. A lot of the times you want to be able to play through multiple changes within one region or one position on your guitar, and this is a great way to practice that as well. So what I recommend doing, this is how I would practice this. I would play the chord first, then I would play the arpeggio and descend in the scale. Now if you want to kick up a nice simple rhythm to play to over this, just staying on that chord. Fill in some of the space with your own lead play. Just simple things to do to kind of test out the position and where you're located right there. Let's go this way. You're right, my left. I'm going to voice my chord like this. I got my D, my F, my C. Another way to play the chord that's a nice, interesting voicing, kind of different, right? I'm going to kind of call off some fret positions here just in case this is confusing visually. I've got my middle finger on D, my 1st finger on F, got my C with my 3rd finger on the 3rd string, 5th fret, and my pinky is on the 2nd string, 6th fret, giving me my F down there. For all you technical people, yes, the A is being omitted at the moment, but we're still going for our D minor 7 chord here in our D minor tonality. I come up with these things late at night sometimes. Okay, so now we're taking this and we're going to apply our triad or our arpeggio to go with it, and that's going to be just like this. There's that A. richness of the tonality. So the scale shape that's going to work here is we're going to start with our pinky on the root note. I'm going to be playing through basically, as I said before, the key of C major, but I'm looking at this as D Dorian right now. So I have... Again, if I bounce back with my nice little rhythm, I can combine these two areas of arpeggios. Which is really, really easy. You can kind of bounce between ranges there and get comfortable visually looking at the guitar and going through those particular arpeggios. As well as you could do the scale shapes. You can ascend in one and descend in another. Sometimes that's kind of a nice way to get used to it. Again, just going through all the tonalities of Dorian, or all the positions that really bring out the Dorian mode within our 2-5-1 progression, again in the key of C, focusing on D minor 7. So those are two positions. Where else can you go? That's what you're thinking, right? Well, I'll show you. We'll go up here. So this is where it gets to be really fun for you blues players out there, because the pentatonic scale essentially is a minor 7 chord with an added fourth. We're going to take away the fourth when we explain the voicing of the arpeggio, but yes, to answer your question, can you rip out of the pentatonic scale over a D minor 7 chord starting from D? Yes, you can. So here we go. We've got this particular voicing of the chord, pretty complicated in the way that I've got my third finger laying flat across the fourth, third, and second string. Some of my students will kind of try to cheese this a little bit and go for this. Nah, not allowed. Can't really do that. You got to use your middle finger there, and then you have your third finger. Now, the fifth string is actually being blocked out by the arch that my middle finger is doing to kind of take away that note, and then I've just got the crux of the chord. I got the main parts of the chord there. We can get some extensions with our pinky. That's our 9. But the whole thing is we just want to make sure that we voice it this way so we can do that, so you can add notes to the chord. That's the most important thing. Okay, so let's go over the arpeggio in this particular case. Like I said, it's like a pentatonic scale minus our fourth. So what that gives you is, or fourth, not fourth note I must say, fourth degree. So if I'm coming off of my D chord, that means that's going to be my G note, right? D, E, F, G. That's the one we're adding in there. So in this particular case, I've got boom, boom. There would be my fourth that I would have within the pentatonic scale. We're going to bail him and go straight to here. Right? Just really slowly go through that so it's not confusing with the pentatonic scale. Now, the mode that I'm going to use for my scale shapes, right, in this particular case, is going to start right here with my root note, my first finger. Keeping us right in that region. So what's cool about this now, let's say we're going to change up our rhythm a little bit. Folks, we've just been kind of sticking true to those chords. I mentioned that 9 that I threw in that other position. I'm going to play a D minor 9 chord. I'm going to throw that E in there, right? It's also your 2, but it's also your 9. And the way that I'm voicing this, very similar to the way that we had structured the chord before, but now I've just slid my pinky in to go ahead and get that 9. So what I get out of this now is a little bit more to my chord vamp. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll play rhythm. Why don't you try some of these shapes over what I'm playing? Who says we can't jam on the internet? Just casually go through those positions. Maybe try one of the scale shapes, maybe try one of the arpeggios. It's a nice way for you and I to get to know each other. I'll play some rhythm and you can do some lead. Just going over those spots. Rhythmically, you know, when it comes to your lead play within some of these scale shapes, I really think it's good to play against kind of the groove a little bit, you know. So as you play through these, let me explain what I'm talking about. As you play through those, I'm just reacting to the initial rhythm that I'm playing here, sticking to those shapes. Now, licks that people have done to get used to phrasing within this is number grouping. So you can try to play, if you've ever played your scales in thirds or in fourths, different ways to create some kind of phrasing within that. And what I mean by that is let's just take it really simple and give a brief explanation of that. If I'm taking this position, and I'm working off of my D here, and I want to play this in fourths, I'm just going to really simply go 1, 2, 3, 4. Start from the next note in the scale, which in this particular case is my E, and ascend 4 notes. Same thing, start from my next note. And it gives a really cool rhythmic pattern when you get into these kind of things. That was doing fours, just starting from my B note right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Within the context. Just ways to kind of mix things up and kind of keep it fresh within yourself. So we have not covered all the positions, ladies and gentlemen. We still have a little bit more to go. So let's think of a different way to phrase this. It's kind of a nice way to play our D minor 7 chord right there. Sometimes people don't really necessarily like that kind of dissonant thing that happens there between those. So that's why we've always got this option of voicing our chords this way as well. So one arpeggio shape that we have that we can use that starts from that 10th position goes just like this. What's really nice about this is traditionally a minor 7 chord. No matter where you play it on the guitar, it's one of those shapes that is universal and it shifts around. In this particular case, I have my D, my F, my A, my C, right? Say, just for the sake of example, if I wanted to put that somewhere else. Of course, I'm digressing from the lesson, but just to show you how you can move these things around. E minor 7 triad would be just to put that pinky right on my E, same shape. Just showing you these things that, you know, a lot of times when you come into these motions with the guitar, depending upon where you start them from, it's always important to make sure, of course, you know your root note, you know where you're at. And that way we can take these things that we learn and move them throughout all kinds of styles, and just more importantly, know the fretboard really well with just some consistent shapes. So getting back to that, our arpeggio goes like this. So, like I said, everybody, we've just kind of opened up the fretboard, talking about the Dorian tonality. So what I'm going to do really quick is I'm going to play some different variations of these chords so you and I can jam together. I kind of like that idea right now, the way that I'm thinking about it. I'm on camera, I'm on the spot, but I got to say, playing some rhythm for you sounds like a good idea to me. So I'm going to do that with some of these different chord voicings. Go ahead and play it out. We'll fade out the video and we'll fade it out jamming. Thanks for checking it out, everybody. Go to nextlevelguitar.com for all the other lessons and information, all the things you know are good that you need in your life. They all exist on that website, and I look forward to seeing you again next time.